Good evening once again. I'm up here, over there, everywhere, all over the place, right here, Hustle in Rice Canterbury, part 2 of what I consider to be a very important discussion about the state of our school system.
Well, Mr. Morris, just before you get to that, I just want to take the opportunity to say to those who watch your blog,
Yes.
Really appreciate you for watching MM out there.
Yes.
Because I'm amazed at the number of people this blog troubles.
Yes.
I'm really amazed at
Yes,
it,
yes,
and so I'm really happy to be a part of this, and I want to thank you publicly for being here and allowing me to be a part of what you do, sir.
Yes, and I appreciate that very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. When we left part 1, we were talking about fixing these grades of the athletics, not only racing, but jumping and all forms of track and field.
Right.
Yeah, and it's very highly organized.
Right.
And in this case, there are adults who attend the sports, and the school boys are the bookies. They control the money, but obviously bigger people, more older individuals are involved in it.
So this is something that you know of in terms of actuality.
Yes,
Okay.
some of the individuals I've spoken to have actually told me about these things.
Wow.
So that one is
in Barbados.
Yes, that one is substantiated.
Wow.
There's also unsubstantiated of this mixed educational thing, which is, I think, is a bunch of garbage. Anyhow, you have girls, and you have, like, okay, in the prostitution area, you have a madam who have girls. The same thing. There's one or two who control this bunch of girls. For the boys, to get to them, you have to come to me. They can't deal with anyone unless I know about it, either at school or away from school.
Right.
They're totally under the control.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing actually goes.
Yeah, well, you have pimps and pimpettes,
Mm-hmm.
However you want to put it, but that's always been, again, we're dealing with elements that have been in operation for years, way back when, even in the Bible. We have the lady Rahab, who was the harlot in Jericho. So we have, what we call ancient systems that are returning. So this is not something that's new, but it becomes new to the point where it is happening within the teenage dimension, because it's not something that happened there before. You remember, back in the days when, as a youngster growing up, and someone would say, well, this lady is a lady of the night.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a teenager, it was a fully grown woman.
Yes.
Now,
which you have to respect too, because
even though,
but you as a little boy, you have to
still have to respect her, even though within the community she was labeled as that. But still, when you get to the point where this is happening with 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls and boys, this is a terrible situation. And it's always something that we need to look at and deal with. I'm sitting here with you because I know of these things. I know of, and even within the vision that I had, I spoke about the
by the way, our friend who got this, she told me that it's well appreciated, and she even sent it to a friend of mine who lives in St. Lucie.
Wow.
And he told me his name is Stephen, by the way, Stephen Graves, that he was very impressed by it.
Wow.
And I marked it. I told him, remember, that was done in 2005.
That's right.
So continue.
That's right.
I just brought that because you brought that.
And in that vision, I talked about the situation going on within the schools back then. That's what the revelation came about what would happen within the school system, and that has unfolded in a very serious way. But again, we're looking at all these ancient systems that are coming back. But the more that they come back, they seem to infiltrate into a lower section of our age group rather than a higher section, which would be the normal case. So we have to address these things, and I'm going to say this because I spoke with a young lady, and I have, even as a minister, you get to deal with things and have cases come in front of you that you wonder what the heck is going on in this country. When you have teachers, female teachers, who are recruiting young ladies within the school system to be a part of a sex ring, having them come over to their homes to do castings to see if they will make it, and to do casting. I had one young lady that ended up being in a gang, and when she came to the church, she had these things, or these scarves out. So I said to her, "What are you doing flagging in my church?" That's what they call it, flagging.
Then they do this guy flagging.
When they have the scarves hanging out of their pockets.
The dress there, yeah.
So I asked her what gang are you a part of? Now her mom was there. Her mom was like, "What gang are you talking about?" I asked her, "What gang are you a part of?" And she said which gang she was a part of. And when I removed the scarf that was on her hand, she had 3 cigarette burners on it, which was the initiation. She said she had three cigarette burners. In other words, they actually put the cigarette out on her hand.
Yeah.
Okay? And so one of the initiations was either the 3 cigarette burns, or she had to have sex with all of the captains. And this is a young lady that's just about 14 years old. So I'm telling you, so when you have this situation where teachers are inviting students to parties at their home, and they have secret rooms and secret cameras and different things set up, there's a whole lot of crazy stuff that's going on in Barbados.
So that puts paid to what I said, that the system is at its lowest ebb.
Yeah.
And the Minister of Education, Bradshaw it is, Sanita Bradshaw, again, no action, just talk. Because I haven't seen Sanita Bradshaw done anything at all except make speeches which carry no weight and photo opportunities. You're not doing anything. None of you guys are doing anything except talk, despite all the promises that you made. I'm going to keep talking about it all the time. Now, I did a show about a cricket match that was played between Bailey's and Milton Lynch, where one team used a non-regulation ball.
I remember that, yeah.
And the Minister of Sport, John King, who's an idiot, Mark Fingal, who in this case is also an idiot, and Tornhill, who in this case proved himself to be an idiot as well. All let it roll as if nothing had happened.
Okay.
But MMO there goes further than that, because I spoke to 2 of the guys who played in that game, who used the illegal ball. And it wasn't the first time that they used that ball. They practiced with that ball. It's something they did all the time. And I have them on tape. But just that the parents don't want me to release this tape. But the tape is mine, they can release it anytime. So this is something that they did all the time. So
you have match fixing in Barbados?
Well, fixing, I wouldn't call it match fixing, because the other team didn't know anything about it. Right? I call it cheating.
Okay, cool.
Right? Because you're supposed to use a 4.5 ounce ball, and they're using a 5.5 ounce ball. So the other team, they don't know that.
Right.
So they're thinking they're playing against a 4.5 ounce ball. So they're actually playing shots to a 4.5 ounce ball and a 5.5 ounce ball. That ounce is way different. It's going to keep lower, it's going to jump higher, it's going to move more. It'll get you out.
Right.
And this ball is handed to the umpires before the start of the innings, who should check. I also investigated from one of these umpires. Umpired in every single game that the offending team played in.
Wow.
and nothing was ever done. But I have a close watch on that. That competition is soon going to start again. And don't think that you're going to get away with what happened last year, because I'm going to bring it up again with the evidence. Remember that I said so. Again, that is part of the school system.
Yeah. Oh.
In this case, aided and abetted by teachers and so on.
Even at the primary school level.
And that was at the primary school level.
Right.
So you can actually imagine what is really going on here. It's a terrible, it's a very, very terrible situation. And that puts paid to what I've always been saying about cell phones in school. You don't need any cell phones in school. You don't. I think what they should do in the first place is take away, make these the core educational thing, put a stop to it. Like, let's say Coach Perry and Alexandria, who are of the same level, send those boys who are up at Alexandria to Coach Perry, and send the girls who are up there to Alexandria School. That's what should be done, right? It will put a stop to all this thing, because most of these things only happen then from co-educational, which is done under the stewardship of the Minister of Education at the time, Billy Miller. And these people are supposed to have brains.
Well, the thing is that what we have to understand is education system versus the correct educational environment. Okay? And what we're doing is that we're trying to merge the two and make the two one. Okay? Listen, it's as simple as trying to grow mangoes in the desert. Okay?
Unless you have an oasis.
It's not going to happen. Okay? You put cactus in the desert, it's going to bloom, because that's the environment. And I think what we have to understand in Barbados, especially with our educational system, is not to confuse educational programs with educational environments. We have to make sure that the environment is one for learning. It doesn't matter how much technology you put into a school system or a school program. If the environment for learning isn't there, those systems are null and void.
And especially if you have an environment for something else, which is more popular than the environment that the apostles spoke about.
Right, so that's the reality, that if the environment of the school is not one for learning, if children are coming because today is another day for me to bully another kid, to extort funds from them, get involved in some extra curricular activity during lunchtime, meet up with my buddy, meet up with my girl, meet up with my gang, meet up with my team, but I'm not coming to school to learn, that's going to be an issue. I had that when I was at the now Darrell Jordan Secondary School. The young man who was there came out of a certain community and actually attacked a pregnant teacher. So, I'm saying this is very, very important to understand the program versus the environment. And a lot of our kids, that's why I've made it clear before in our campaign that one of the things that we need in the educational institution is an intermediate school between the primary and secondary schools. That if our students are proving to be above par, instead of going through the common entrance exam, you move them out early and advance their education so that you're able to wean the system better, so your environment for learning will be a better one.
Okay, Apostle, with that, our time is up.
Wow.
Very quick again. And I can't go without saying this.
That's correct.
When Thomas Jefferson, when the people fear the government, there is tyranny. But when the government fears the people, there is liberty or freedom. We'll always hear that incessantly on MM out there. And with that, MM out there saying, go on for now. Till next time, Apostle, been a pleasure having you here. Let's make our exit.